Hello, everyone. What's going on? Welcome back to the Safe Room. I'm your host, the President Sean Williams. It's late at night, but I had to get this episode out. And literally, once I'm done, I'm uploading it. I promised you guys to get it out on Friday, which is today. And just a lot of things came up for me in terms of work and just making sure I got some things done. It happens. It happens. So we're going to push it through, get this episode out, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired. I am so tired. So we'll have to see what happens, but it should be fun. It should be a pretty interesting episode, especially what I promoted. So hope you guys are doing well. If you guys are returning for another episode of the Safe Room, welcome back. If you are new, I am Sean Williams. I am the host, the producer, the editor. Basically, all the titles you could possibly slap across my name, that's me. That's me. Been doing this podcast for 3 years now. So you learn a couple things, but you're also building. You're always looking to improve and get better at what you do. And that's all we're about. We're about getting better, man. Like that's what we do here. So today we have a really interesting episode and we're gonna be talking about concerts. Specifically a couple specific ones, but basically just the culture and the environment of like concerts, the people setting everything up in terms of like the organizers, the vibe once the concert is actually in motion, how does it feel? Because no cap, there's been a lot of concerts happening lately. There have been a lot of concerts happening, and I think the biggest question now is just which concert you're heading to this weekend. Is you going to Manifesto, which is actually happening tonight? Are you heading to another festival? Are you heading to Rolling Loud, which I believe comes in September? Are you heading here? Are you heading there? I feel like ever since like July kicked in, it's been nonstop, like music concert festival week after week after week. I mean, we just passed Caravana, and that got a lot of talk, and we're gonna definitely talk about that as well for this discussion. So, and again, it makes sense. It makes sense why we're getting all this conversation around it because it's been almost 3 years. It's been almost 3 years since we've been able to enjoy ourselves, go out. So for a lot of these organizers who are running these festivals and these concerts and these events, this is the best time. And maybe they don't want to delay it any further. They want to get out there, kind of build off the momentum of the people who want to go out and continue to just enjoy their summer because we're already in August. Sooner or later, it's about to be like fall. Like the weather will be getting cold soon. Like I literally just came home from an event, and like I wouldn't say it was like freezing cold, but I could feel the breeze. The wind was on my back. So it is what it is. But before we get into the actual conversation, we're gonna continue with the new segments. Now, usually I would do a special check-in with my guests, but because it's me solo this time, we're just gonna do a little just check up on myself, like what I've been doing lately, what I've been doing this week. Just let you guys know a little bit more about what I've been doing off camera, because I'm a very reserved person when it comes to sharing what I do. I just feel like if I have no need to share it unless it's something important. Then I'll just keep it to myself, or you'll see me when you'll see me, and I'll give you the news there. But I'm doing well, and like I mentioned before, I just came from an event. It was actually an event right on Corner Commons at Jane and Finch. It was part of a photo exhibit for a community research project called Park Perceptions and Racialized Realities. So shout out to Green Shade and St. James Town Community Center Co-op, and also the Jane and Finch Family and Community Center for putting this together. It was absolutely amazing. I got there. Oh, and by the way, guys, just to let you know, I live very close to like Jane and Finch. I live like close in the area. I literally had to wait for the bus, the 35, for like 20 minutes in the hot sun. And like everyone just kind of crowded the bus stop. It was terrible. And again, because I live so close to the bus stop I was waiting at to my place, I was literally contemplating, do I just turn around and go back home? Because like I'm really not about to deal with this hot weather, bro. Like I feel like I'm like a piece of bacon and like the sun is like the skillet and it's just like it's cooking me, like my face. Like I feel like I just got a darker shade after this. Like no joke. Um, but luckily I got there. I was late, but I was late, but I wasn't because when I got there, I was like, it was like 20 minutes in, but people were still looking around. Um, what also surprised me was the fact that there was local media there, like City News, CBC was there. I didn't expect that. That wasn't even mentioned in like the original post on social media, which I heard about the event. So I just kind of I mind my business. Sometimes when you're around media, there's different types of people. There's those that like, oh, I want to get noticed. I'm trying to get on TV and everything. And then there's just people who just respect the space. Like, I'm just not going to disturb anyone. I'm not going to disturb the cameras. People are getting interviews, which I understand. So I was just walking around and everything, and again, taking in the event. There's photos, specific photos taken from Janet Finch, from St. James, excuse me, um, and honestly, it was something to really behold. Seeing the photos and how each of it had a specific narrative to creating like community space, wanting to address certain issues, whether it's on gentrification, safety, green spaces in the community as well, looking to improve on that, have that capacity building. That was something that was really great to see come together, and for the media to come and see that it was shocking because usually you have to like scream to the top of your lungs to get the attention of the media because it seems like if you don't do anything good or more so if you do something bad the media are immediate right there like they'll come right to your doorstep. But it's good to see that finally something good in the community, we have actual media coverage taking place, which is a really great thing to see. And as I was there, I also saw a couple of pictures from someone that I actually got to meet today and someone that I actually follow on Instagram. I follow her work, and this was the first time seeing her in person, and it was really great to have a conversation with her. Isatu, I think I said it right this time. Isatu. I'm not the best with names. If that is probably if there's one Achilles heel of mine, names like I'm terrible. Isatu, I think so. Um, so I actually saw her and I walked up to her, introduced myself, and I said, I know Katie, Sadie, and Hawa from Let's Talk Big Things. Like, oh, you listen to the podcast? I'm like, yeah, I had them on my podcast at one time, and that's where she thought to herself, like, wait, I think I follow you. I'm like, yeah, the Safe Room official. She's like, oh yeah. So it was just a good moment to, just kind of talk with her. She's been doing amazing things. So shout out to Issa too for coming out and just having that conversation with me. And shout out to you for just doing your amazing work in photography. I've been following your page. The stuff you have it's clean. It's elite, crisp content. So shout out to you. So yeah, that's what I did for today. Throughout the week, nothing crazy. I just had work. I did catch up to a couple of albums and singles. Like I said, I really love my music, so I always try to keep up to date with that. To provide a little update, last week, if you watched the episode with Shamar, we talked about the Beyonce album. And I said that I only listened to like half of it, but I wasn't really vibing with it. So I took the chance to finish the rest, and I'm still gonna say it. I did not like the album. This is me. This is not for me speaking on an overall consensus or giving you that what you need to hear. It's like for me, Sean Williams, me, myself, and I didn't like the album. This does not make me look at Beyonce anything less. Does not make me say that, oh, she's done, she's washed. Like, no. Like, Beyonce, she's one of the greatest. One of the greatest performers, one of the greatest artists of all time. No disputing it. That's not going to change. I just felt like this album didn't really, speak to me that much. And I get it. I get it. Before anyone gets in the comments or say anything, this was more for a specific audience, which is fine. But also, there ain't tracks on there I can just listen to or jam. I feel this is somewhat similar to what Kendrick dropped, but not really, because Kendrick, it was completely personal. It was completely personal for him. So I think when he dropped the album, it was not hard for us to, realize, oh, okay, I really can't understand because he did not have this album be intentional to, specific group or for his fans, just for him. Beyonce, I guess I didn't catch that immediately until I actually started listening to the album. But again, not the craziest things to come out of the album for me. But again, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm not sure. Maybe you think I'm a hater. Maybe a lot of y'all probably think, oh, you're a B hater. Listen, I love me some Beyonce, but I feel like throwback Beyonce. If you give me like 2000 in the mid 2000s Beyonce, like Sasha Fierce, B Day Beyonce, like I'm good. I'm good, man. Like that was the time for me. But like I said, I was listening to a couple of like albums in the while. I finally got to listen to that Jack Harlow piece. Trust me, it was not because I was intrigued, because I heard so much people bashing it, saying it was shit. So I said, all right, let's see how shit it was. I had no expectation of like, oh, maybe it would be good. Like I knew it was gonna be bad, and oh boy, yeah, it's not good. It's not good, bro. But yeah, always trying to update you guys on music as well. Maybe I need to start doing that more if I don't have guests, but that's if I run solo episodes. So if I always keep getting guests, then you may not see that. Maybe I'll do it for intermissions, kind of spice things up a bit. Um, but yeah, that's about it in terms of a checkup on me. Now let's get into the actual conversation. So, concert culture. Now, I just want to say I'm speaking from just the heart. I'm not going to speak on a completely, expertise level, okay? But I've never been a concert person. I've never been a dude that's going to like willingly go out to an event and be like, oh yes, like I can't wait to go to like a huge event with like thousands of people and have the time of my life. I feel like for me, I can have a fun night with 10 people than 1,000 because I feel like it's not about quantity. It's not about how much people are there. It's about the quality. Am I really enjoying myself? Because sure, you can enjoy yourself at a concert with hundreds and thousands of people, but I also feel like when you're there with everyone, you also have to be so precautious about your surroundings, everything that's happening, making sure that no one's getting hurt, no one is doing anything stupid. You're keeping yourself safe. You're not getting yourself in bad situations. Whereas if I'm hanging with my friends, it's like there's a minimal risk. Not to say there won't be any trouble, but there's a unlikely chance you're gonna get yourself into something bad. And when you're with 1,000 people, like a huge setting like concerts, like a Kultureland or a Kingston Fest, which we'll get into, you know, doing something when you're like, that's like influential. Not to say like you're under influence or anything, but like doing something, your influence is a little bit weak. You don't realize at the time. It's just kind of like, oh, we're all here to just have fun. But when you're with a smaller group, you can actually step back a bit more and be like, you know what? Maybe I should rethink this. Maybe I should read this. And again, this is just coming from me. Maybe what I'm saying you this is not has it hasn't been experienced by you, and I get it. But what I'm trying to get to this is basically what's happened in the last couple of weeks with some of the events. One of the most notable ones being Kingston Fest. And if you don't know what happened, there was a lot of backlash and criticism where, fans were kind of being chaotic. People were storming through the event. And again, I didn't really see that much. The last time I covered something similar to this subject matter was with the Astroworld festival that happened last year. I had Elliot and Elijah from the Conflict and Interest podcast last year. We talked about it, but yeah, it's just the same situation. People kind of breaking down the barricades, storming into the VIP section. It was a lot. A lack of water, overcrowding. The audio wasn't even good on stage as well. It was just very rugged. So a lot of pieces went wrong. A lot of stuff went wrong, and there was an ask for refunds. And unfortunately, the one who was like, head of running the event said that there would not be no refunds, and I got huge backlash. I think if you've seen it on Instagram, the organizer, the head of Kingston Fest was on Brandon Gomez's, interview, and we all seen the clip, the little meme with like the intense music, like the dun dun dun, like, are you gonna give the refunds back? It's just like, yeah, we're not. Um, but yeah, like I said, it was just a sad thing to see. And you just wish that nothing bad happens from those situations. You always want to hope for the best, have a good time. And like I said, it wasn't just Kingston Fest, it was also Cultureland, with the venue being changed, like literally the day of the venue switch, which caused one of the headliners, Janae Aiko, she just said, "Yep, I'm not doing this," because she wasn't informed and you know ahead of time. So from that, a lot of switches came from there, where went from Janae Aiko to, I believe, Burna Boy, who main evented or headlined Cultureland. But I think there was also something where there was like a medical emergency. I noticed because a good one of my friends posted on their TikTok, and I saw that. So like literally when I saw that, I just thought to myself like, come on, man, like. Is there a time where we can just have a concert where like no one's getting hurt? There isn't people trying to break in and cause havoc, or there's like no issues. Like, I don't know, man. And it got me thinking about this topic today about concert culture, just like what has shifted so much. And I wouldn't say that there's been a huge shift, because things like this have existed before. I can't really tell you when, because I don't really follow concerts like that. But I can say that there has been a heavy intensification of like situations like this. I feel like anytime I hear a big event, my first thing is not about like, I wonder how it's going to be, how are the performers, how they're going to organize it. It's more of like, what idiots are going to go out there and just wreck the fun, just completely wreck the fun and destroy any sanity that is already established. So there's just complete and utter chaos. So that was really my standpoint from it. But let's talk about Kingston Fest. So I do have an article right here, just kind of go over there. Well, it's not really an article; it's from Blog To. So, like, guys, again, I'm mostly speaking freely on this because I don't want to just stick completely to just like one, piece of media information. I just want to like give you my personal take. I won't try to be too long because again, it's late, but I'm just gonna breeze right through it. So Sunday's outdoor festival at Downtown Park, and like to mention before, sorry about that, but yeah, this took place at Downtown Park, which was Kingston Fest. Sunday's outdoor festival at Downtown Park had high hopes for being Canada's largest outdoor show for dancehall and reggae music, but it was memorable for other reasons, and of course, it's not for the music; it was for other stuff. From an alleged. See, guys, this how you know I'm tired. Like when I'm tired, but I'm just like saying like words incorrectly that should be so simple again. But apologies for that. From alleged lack of water, barricade fences, overcrowding, long lines, and crappy audio, fans have demanded full refunds for their experience. A post shared from the festival's Instagram page aimed to shed light on the circumstances surrounding the outcome, said the fence breach and crowd search required to the festival to initiate their security plans, which saw the closing of bars. So there was actually a couple, videos taken from this where people were actually breaking in, and I just have to say this too. What is it with that people are just so impatient to like not wait? Because I guarantee you, let's be real. Most of y'all come, and I don't want to say everyone, but you're here for the main event, right? You're here for the main event. They don't go on till last. So like, let's say the festival starts at like at 5, right? and you know they don't come on till like 9 or 10. Why are you just like ruining everything to know like, oh, they're literally not the first people to hit the stage. Like I don't get it. I'm so lost behind that. But again, some people are just really impatient, and before anyone really says like, oh, it's a passion, I hear you. I get it. But how far does that passion go where you're putting people's, lives at stake? Because, like, just imagine where you're just standing there behind the gates, general admission, and people start shoving. You feel this force. What people don't realize is that when you're in a crowded space, some people are claustrophobic, right? Where they need space to move around, they need space to breathe. And when you keep pushing against something, it's just gonna. It's like you feel like you're getting crushed. You're getting crushed, and you don't have room to actually maneuver. If, like, let's say, oh, I need to, like, move this limb, I need to move my arm, my leg. You can't. You feel like you're paralyzed. You're stuck. That's a scary sight. And again, I wouldn't know because the only times I go to like said concerts, I'm using air quotations because I don't got my camera on. The only time I go to concerts if it's like private locations, there's closed out, and like there's something small. Because again, I feel like I can enjoy myself at a small reserve concert than like something very open as like Cultureland or a Kingston Fest, right? But I don't know. Some people they love this type of thing. They love just getting intense and raging out. And y'all might need to just take a chill pill. Y'all need to go sit down and drink some water. Like for real, y'all need to just sit down and just relax yourself. Um, so one of the biggest complaints found on social media was that the festival had no available water for guests, and that some spent hundreds of dollars on bottle service and VIP sections, to which there were very few or none at all. So that sucks. That sucks. That I mean, spending $100 on VIP. I mean, I wish I had that type of money. Like, I really wish I had that type of money. But hey, if people want to spend that much money on that, that's cool. I ain't gonna judge. I ain't gonna judge. But like I said, there was a lot of backlash, and like I mentioned before, the one who was organizing it, the head organizer, said there would be no refunds, and a lot of people were pissed. Now, I want to kind of get to the culture land before I get into my full analysis on this, because again, there's a lot to digest, and I can't speak on every single event because I'll be here for like more than an hour. So I'll just stick specifically to just the two recent ones, and like that's even excluding Caravana, because there were even people storming Caravana as well, and that's a sentence that I wouldn't say I thought I would never say, but it's still surprising because I do believe there's some people that be trying to sneak into Caravana, but to actually see like video where people are like trying to like break down the certain sections, like go join, like the fets and everything, just going to certain places, the vendors. It's just, where did we establish this habit? Where do we establish this behavior where like it's okay to just tear down everything and break down the walls? Like I don't know. I don't know. It just it mind boggles me. So yeah. So this one is about Cultureland. So again, just to give a quick overview. I'm not gonna go over everything. So some ticket holders say they're outraged after a musical festival abruptly changed venues, providing short notice to visitors traveled from afar and wide to attend the concert. Cultureland Festival was scheduled to take place at Markham Fairgrounds Sunday, but it quickly changed venues to the Ajax Downs racetrack right as doors were about to open in Markham at 4 p.m. So yeah, just let you know, when they were about to open the doors, that's where they gave the notice for the change of venue, which I can only imagine. Imagine you're somewhere very far from the original place in Markham. just to hear that, oh yeah, we're moving to Ajax. It's crazy. And maybe for someone who isn't even live far, let's say you live in Ajax, you live in that area, just to come down to Markham and it's just like, oh yeah, we changed it and it's in Ajax. Like it's on your way back. It's a very frustrating thing to hear. One of the worst things to here is a change of venue because I feel there needs to be a level of discipline and organization at place because you can't be doing that to people, especially the day of, like literally when you're about to open the doors, there's a switch. You can't be doing that to people because it shows that there's a lack of commitment, there's a lack of discipline in how you want to run things, and that's not going to give a good impression to not only your fans but to the performers, because if they're starting to see this, then they're gonna take objectives to their own hands and say, you know what? If these people can't even decide where they want to do their event, then don't invite me next time. Like don't bring me on if you're not gonna have a clue of what to do. And speaking of that, because of the changes, well, it caused a certain someone to actually, drop out. She personally dropped out, and I'm just gonna read this right here. So, Cultureland organizers said in a tweet Sunday afternoon that some artists were unable to perform. The announcement was made less than an hour before showtime, with several artists on the lineup dropping out without advance notice, including headliner Janae Aiko. So, yeah, you messed up when Janae Aiko, your headliner. It's not even like, oh, okay, someone who's like about to warm up or like they're in the middle or even kicking off, the festival. Your headliner said, nah, I'm off this. Janae Aiko just said, yeah, I'd rather just kind of go back to where I'm at and just chill. And again, that's bad. So you have two situations in Kingston Fest where it kind of relived, the horrors from Astroworld and Cultureland, where the change of venues kind of messed everything up in motion as well. Now, I do want to get to just the aura of concert culture because, again, I think for me, there's so much things that I want to consider because I kind of defined it pretty well when I made my post promoting it. So it's no reason to deny of like why we're seeing so much concerts, why we're seeing all these things happening at once. Again, it's been a long time since we've been able to go outdoors and really engage with people, say hi, or enjoy ourselves at these concerts. Which fine, I totally get. But again, I feel like there's been an increase of like incidents where individuals are just storming events. There's a lot of medical emergencies and the risk of like safety for anyone who's going to a concert. It's becoming more prominent than ever. And like I mentioned before, where did this come from? Now, this isn't me speculating. This isn't even me saying this is the answer or pointed theories, but I felt something had to happen around in 2020. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I don't tune myself into pop culture. I don't know if that gap where people cannot go outside had such of a mental toll to them where any chance they get to, express themselves, be loud, be vibrant, they're going to take, it's now being a force of action where you're just kind of being reckless. It's not even like you're expressing yourself. You're actually being more harmful in these situations. And this is why I say I don't think that's the reason because like you know people get loud at concerts. It's a common thing. I don't think you go to a concert to be super quiet. That's not the point. The performers, they don't want to be quiet. They want you to engage and everything. So that's why I said I don't think it's just the crowd. I think it's also the performers too. You gotta realize, as badly we wanted all these artists to come out to Toronto and perform, they wanted to come out too. If you are an artist, one of your biggest concerns is that when everything is closed and you can't do nothing, you're always wondering. And I would even say not just from an artist, from a creator, anyone who does like, music in the professional world, or even just someone like me as a podcaster, you are worried that your fans can come and go. Because don't forget, like, for a lot of these artists, the fans, we make them what they are. We're the reason why, they have this fame, they have the status, they're able to, get all the attention, the media is always gravitating for them. Like, let's be real. So when you are in 2020 at the time being, and everything's closed down, you can't do concerts, you can't do tours. Some people could even leave the country to like do anything like that. You couldn't leave certain situations where you were stuck in your house. You are worried if the fans are still there. You're worried, are there fans like that are gonna wait for me for 2 years, or are they ready to just like to move on? Because let's be honest, us as human beings, we're self-interested and we want more. We always want to consume something different. So if we don't see something that we were already engaging with ourselves for a while, we are very quick to move on. And if you feel guilty, then yeah, that was not for me to, say, oh, don't feel like, no, it's true. We are greedy. We are really greedy. And it's just an acceptance of it. So for the artists, they're also, when they're coming back for these concerts, they're encouraging, the fans to get loud because their adrenaline is through the roof where, yes, like I'm outside, like I'm with my fans, like they're all here, they're here for me. That is a good feeling. So I don't want to just say it's the fans, it's also the artists where concerts nowadays have that extra energy or extra feel to it where everyone is going there and it's like if you are anything but quiet, then that's the energy got to be on. But if you're just dead silent, then like you need to get the heck out of here because we did not wait 2.5 years for us to be silent when coming back outside. And again, that's a fair point. Now, with that being said, there's no problem with being loud because again, this has always been established. But sometimes I feel like there's where accountability gets thrown out the window. When someone is too loud, there's never really a moment where we check ourselves and be like, all right, hold on. I think we need to relax. I think we need to tone it down, bring the energy down a bit, not completely, but just a bit, because we need to consider other people. Because again, we're all different. Like I mentioned before, if I'm going to a concert, I'm gonna be honest. I ain't gonna scream. I'm gonna get loud, like I'll cheer. I'll probably get my woos and yes, like all over the place. But I'm not yelling. I'm not jumping up and down. I'm definitely not doing none of those mosh pits. You can get me out of that bullshit. Absolutely not. So people operate different in concerts, and we respect that. Just as if someone like, for example, if you are driving, not everyone is going to get behind the wheel with the utmost confidence, like, oh yeah, I got this. I'm about to hop in the whip, just like skirt, like I'm off out of the drive lane, drive through, just gone. Some people don't have that nerve, and they'll be a little bit shook and like like hold on, like let me just take a deep breath or like let me take it easy, like put it in the gear. That's how you have to treat it. And I feel sometimes people don't acknowledge that they're just so in the moment where they just go, but never really take time to like, hey, like I just want to make sure, like, are you okay? I hope I'm not doing too much. And not to say like I have to completely turn myself down for you because again, I'm gonna turn up, but I want to feel like we're both comfortable. I want to feel like we're all comfortable. And if it's like my over excitement is kind of making you feel a little like uncomfortable, then I'll try my best to kind of balance that out. That's what I'm talking about. And I feel like there hasn't been that much of acknowledgement from the fans or the artists. And like before y'all even think I'm not gonna talk about the organizers, I will get to them. Trust me, I will. But I think questions we need to ask ourselves, do you feel safe or welcome in this space? And are there individuals who are trying to like mess up the vibe, for you? And are they trying, to, make sure you're okay or that we're all okay? You know, I just feel that's the best approach. That's the best approach you can ask. Because again, we're all trying to have fun. We're all trying to have fun. I mean, I wish I had the courage to go to one of these events. Believe me, I do. But I think honestly, my patience for some people just it runs really thin. It runs so thin. You're not seeing me at the front. You're definitely not seeing me in the middle of those concerts because like I will not have the mental capacity to stand with these people because they're gonna be jumping up and down and just like, bro, I can't even see the people already. You jumping up and down and pushing. I will like, I will shoot like punch you in your face. I don't care, bro. Like dead ass, I will punch you in your face. I'm not playing. And if I'm at the front, I'm making sure I'm like, don't put me by the gate. Take me out the gate. I'll have to stand outside from there because I'm not getting shoved. I'm not getting bullied. This isn't wrestling, bro. Like, why do I feel like I'm getting body slammed without actually being picked up then body slammed? Like, make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. But I've talked about the individuals, the fans, talked about the artists. Now let's talk about the organizers. Because a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's the fans' fault. Like, they're so reckless. And yes, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Some of y'all be reckless. But I felt that after what happened with the Astro World Festival, that festivals organizers they would learn that we need to do a better job setting these things up. And clearly, culture like not culture. I was about to get them confused. Kingston Fest clearly does not have that on lock. The fact that there's still lack of food, water, overcrowding, it clearly shows that they completely bypassed what happened at Astro World and thought, oh yeah, we're good, everything is fine. When it's not. It is not. So again, is it really the fans' fault? Or do we always have to put the blame on the fans? Because it's not like everything was run smoothly, like, oh, there was enough water, there was partial spacing where people can move around, have a good time, the audio wasn't bad. Like, no. There's nothing you can say in this situation where it's the fans. Like, yes, you could put some accountability on the fans, but I would not say put most of the accountability on the fans. Like, no, the organizers. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on, bro? So we have to look at these organizers and think that they need to do a better job. They need to be accountable for their actions. They need to be addressed because if they're not going to be addressed, then it's just going to be slipped away and nothing's going to happen. And I feel like, you know, there needs to be times where, like, whoever's running this, they need to be active 24/7. I mean, like, I don't know if it's a situation where the head organizers in the back and VIPs just sitting watching this. Have them legit out there engaging. When I say out there, I don't like that might be a little bit confusing. Like, I don't know, check on the vendors, go around, do a roundabout, see what's happening. If you notice that there's no space in this section before it gets hectic, send a crew, send someone out there to fix that. Get more security. Again, there are certain people that may not feel comfortable for this, but because there's so much people, it works by majority rules, where it's like, okay, I don't feel comfortable, but since 95% of these people are comfortable, I just won't say nothing. It's kind of like what I talk about when it's the purpose of this podcast. Some people, when they have a voice, they don't want to say it on social media or say it online because they're worried that majority of people are like, no, you're wrong, or like it needs to be like this. So the first thing is about taking initiative for these organizers, taking initiative and actually doing something. And I think something needs to happen. So maybe it's something where maybe these organizers who are running these events, maybe they need to be taxed. Maybe there needs to be some level of like repercussions where, like, I don't know, a certain amount of funds are taken out. And listen, I promise you, I'm not trying to sound like defund concerts. No. First things first, even if you take funds, they're probably gonna make it back. But what I'm trying to say is, if it's just some level of accountability, like taking out funds from there, then it's gonna make them realize, like, all right, you know what, like we need to be more precautious. We need to be more strategic so everything works out. And if you're taking away their funds, it kind of limits them a bit to what they can do and how they can operate. And maybe that will open their minds a bit. Like, all right, look, maybe we actually need to handle this a little bit better. Maybe we need to make sure that things run a little bit more smoothly. And from there, if you're able to see that improvement, then it would be a good lesson. Now, maybe again, defunding them is not the answer. My other decision was like they need to like go through some type of procedure or protocol through like a higher committee, something like that, which might be a little bit more reasonable. But I think sometimes when you're dealing with bigger brands like Kultureland or Kingston, it's not something small. When you're dealing with these type of organizers, sometimes the best way to hurt them is through their wallets. Like, let's be real. If you want to take down like any for-profit business, it's got to be the wallet because sometimes if you try to hit them with that socially responsible procedure, it works. Sometimes it's a hit or miss. Sometimes it may work. Other times it doesn't phase them. It'll just be like, okay, we'll do it because it protects our reputation. Reputation, reputation. Guys, I'm telling you, I got like 5 minutes left before I start butchering all over the place. But yeah, it protects the reputation. I know this because again, I took business at York, so like that's my mindset. Sometimes you gotta work on incentive, so it might be hard for them to like agree to that. But sometimes again, it's about establishing that law, that corporate governance, so that way they're not doing anything unethical moving forward. Because what happened that was unethical. Lack of water, lack of food, starvation. Again, that's a list of medical emergencies right up there, like right for grabs. Like people could have been passing out, people could have been like, hospitalized, who knows? That's a safety hazard. So like yeah, it's unethical, the audio not being on par and everything, storming of like, general mission fences. Again, someone could get hurt, someone could have sued. You never know. You never know. So again, I think the best way to, establish that accountability again could be just, a certain procedure or protocol that each, organizing event has to go through, or defunding them a bit, just a bit, or like giving them a limit on what they could spend on, and then like making sure that there's a level of like, reporting consistently. I think that would be the best strategy. But overall, I think just the organizers of the event, it was just so much. It just took a lot out of it. And I'm not sure how they're going to recover from this because even some of the performers were upset. Popcorn was there and he had a lot of words to say after when the head organizer came on, and he came on Brandon Gonez show, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, and how he was talking to Big L. Listen, this man is got some balls, man. Like, cause I don't know if I would have the guts to say all that. Talk about we got Popcorn this private jet. We paid him $22 million, like in Jamaican currency or whatever the case was. To say all of that, and then like I think he even went on to say something super like it was a huge reach about Downview Park. It's like the biggest stage he's ever performed, which we all know that is cap. That is absolute cap. We know that. But yeah, personally, again, I've never been a concert person. I would love to go, but I'm gonna be honest. If I'm going, I'm probably not going to the front. I'm not sticking myself in the middle. I'll probably be right on this side, like near the closest exit, maybe standing right at the exit. And that's the thing. I don't want to be at the exit because now it's like, oh, I can't even enjoy myself completely because I'm not fully there, or like I'm not in range. So that's where I just tell myself, yeah, I'm just not gonna go. Now, again, if it's a closed event, then cool. I mentioned before how I went to Rise's 10th year anniversary. There was a couple performances there, and that's where I got to see Tommy for the first time. I had her on my podcast, and again, that was such an honor. And yes, it was packed there, but it wasn't the sense of like, oh, I can't breathe or I can't move. It was like there was love. You could feel everyone was enjoying themselves, and like during the performance, everyone was just like literally talking, like, hey, like I like this song. Like that's it. While you're there in that surrounding that the fences, it's like you're stepping into an arena where there's a specific purpose, and if you don't abide by that, then there's gonna be consequences that the people are gonna determine. It's like get loud, scream, and rage. And if you don't do that, good luck trying to survive the concert. Good luck trying to just sit there or stand there because you're not sitting, you're standing. Good luck standing there just like nodding your head because you won't have a good time. So personally, again, never been a concert person, but from what I saw with Cultureland and Kingston Fest, Cultureland, you need to do better in terms of the venues. You can't be changing that. Like the day of, I mean, if it was the day before, it's still rough. But I mean, okay, fine. But the day of, come on, man. Like literally hour before showtime. That's despicable. I'm surprised the entire set list of artists and performers did not drop. I'm surprised it was just Janae Aiko. I think Janae just really was the only one that's like, nah, I'm not gonna take this bullshit. I'm not gonna take this. So good for her. But yeah, Cultureland needs to do better. Kingston Fest, what you did, that's despicable. Y'all should be ashamed. And I don't always like to bash people because again, that's not what we're trying to do on this platform, bash, but I feel again, it has to be addressed that you guys need to take better responsibility of how you manage and prioritize your events. That's just me. But that's about it, guys. That's my take. Thank you guys for listening. Tell me what you guys think. Am I being too harsh? Personally, I'm gonna say what I have to say. You may say it's harsh. You may say that, Sean, you weren't harsh enough. But I was determined to have this conversation. And again, even though it's late at night, and again, I don't sound at my top tier, but again, I love this podcast so much that I'm willing to hop on late and have this conversation. This wasn't something I wanted to delay further because sometimes I told you I'm a very persistent dude. When I want to do something, I will do it. So if you hear all the stuttering and the me messing up words, just know that again I was tired, but I don't want to put all excuses out there. All right, we're just here to do what we do. But once again, guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram at the Safe Room Official. Check out the website www.thesaferoompodcast.com. If you guys want to know as well that I am trying to become an MC, not like the full-time MC, but expand into the career of MCing. So if you guys are looking for an MC for an event, anything that's happening, something very small, because I want to start small, then you can go check out my pinned post on Instagram, once again, at the Safe Room Official, and you can email me about your events. I do charge $150. That will go up. That will go up once I get the experience. So I'm being generous, guys. $150. I feel like that is a steal. That's a major steal. I was about to put $300, but I'm like, I want to build that experience. And again, some people have told me that, Sean, you need to stop being the humbled. I know one of them, Nicole. Shout out to Nicole. She told me personally, you need to bump that price. And I'm like, yeah, but I also don't want to be like, okay, do you have any experience? And I tell them I'm just starting. It's like, so you expect me to pay you 3 bills and you have no experience? It's like you better blow the roof off the joint. So 150, guys, I'm being super generous. But trust me, once I get the hang of it, it doubles. It will double. And trust me, sooner or later, guys, once I'm really up there, they're going to have to be charging me a K. They're going to be charging me a G for that, all right? Dead ass. They're going to have to be charging me for a G. That's how it's going to be, all right? You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm definitely going to take some time to just chill and relax, listen to some music. I listened to some new music just today. Megan Thee Stallion. I might review that next week because, boy, oh boy, do I got some things to say about that album. Well, it's like I've only listened to it once. I might listen to it again, but if nothing changes, then I got something to say. But make sure you guys, again, just keep your heads up, enjoy yourself and everything, and whatever you have in life, keep pursuing it. But thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys.